Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Stock Market Update video. And today we'll be looking at QQQ, S&P 500, Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. So we'll be looking at their support and resistance levels to potentially play off of, as well as the most likely scenario that the price action will be heading into next week. So today is Friday. It's a wrap-up show. So we'll be looking at a couple of data for next week. So we are looking at quite a bit of data next coming week. So we have AMZN Manufacturing. Jerome's going to be speaking on Monday. He's supposed to speak. He did speak yesterday, but that was a non-event. Nothing he talked about regarding any of the rate hikes. So we'll see if he talks about it on Monday. And JOLT's going to be important as well. And because Fed also looks at that. ADP is also going to be pretty important. These are all 3-star volatilities, meaning they move the market depending on the data. Initial job claim is also going to be moving the data as well as unemployment rates. So we'll be seeing loaded with data from Monday to Friday next week. So we'll see how it goes. And let's take a look at, so rate hike yesterday, there was this glitch where this was over here for a hike, but I guess they changed it back. So there's no glitch. So it's a rate hold into June of next year at this moment. Obviously, these all can change depending on the CPI data coming in and how the market overall economy is going to be holding up in the next couple of months. Fear and greed index still close to fear. We had extreme fear on Wednesday, I think, and that marked the temporary bottom. Doesn't mean it's the bottom for the drop for this year. But we'll take a look at the technicals to see if it gave us more clues that it could be the potential bottom. AISM data as well, very bearish. You can see 40.9%. We haven't had 40.9% in a while. You can see we have been trending in the 20s and 30s here, and a couple of weeks before was also in the 20s. So this could also potentially mark the temporary bottom because market participants are being quite bearish lately, and we may get a shift back to the other side when everyone's on the same side of the boat. So let's take a look at the technicals. So GIGU had a gap up today, this morning, and we sold off most of it, and pretty much another rejection from the 12 EMA, which is a teal looking line. You can just type exponential moving average. You can see right here we rejected there as well. Makes me probably expecting the support, so we'll see if you can get over that or not and potentially fill this entire gap. 364 is we didn't fill that gap, and it's looking like the hourly trend is still intact. We pretty much just shy of breaking it. You can see right here that was a pivot right there at that low 356.93, and today's pretty much double bottom right there on the hourly candle 357.02. So hourly trend is still intact by a sliver, and you can see hourly trend pivot was there, move up, almost broke it, bounce, but this could potentially shape up a head and shoulders on the hourly if we don't get over 360 on Monday. You can see this is the this is the left shoulder, this is the head, potentially a right shoulder shaping up. If that happens like this, we reject this level, and we need to break the neckline, of course, which is that pivot of this hourly trend. That breaks, we also confirm an hourly downtrend as well as a head and shoulders confirming pattern. So that'll be bearish. It'll probably coming down to test this again. So see if bulls can negate that on Monday, and today's end of the quarter. So there's a lot of rebalancing going on, but we'll see how it shapes up the first day of the next quarter. And we zoom into the monthly chart. So there's also a monthly close of the candle. And honestly, not a lot for information. We pretty much close near the lows, but we are still technically in a monthly bull flag because we measure from the bottom to the top. Yep, still in a monthly bull flag. We're still above 0.382. So from the bottom of the move, A to B, that's 100% of the move, right? And when we only retraced roughly 35%-ish. So as long as we don't retrace over 38% of the initial move, we're still in a bull flag territory. So monthly bull flags are intact, and we'll see what happens on the weekly. So weekly is in a downtrend. So that's this is what a weekly downtrend looks like because we broke this pivot. But so far, it's lacking a little follow through, if you ask me. Because we broke that low, we came a little bit lower, and then we bounced above it. Now, doesn't mean we're out of the woods. For me to say that was a bear break on the weekly, lacking follow through, I want to see us get a daily trend change back to bulls' favor. And we have a big enough bounce now, right? We bounce about 3.29% from its absolutely low. Now, that's big enough room for me where when we pull back and form a new pivot, that's a higher low, meaning the low of the pivot is going to be higher than this low. And I want to see us break above the prior high to form a daily uptrend. If we confirm a daily uptrend here in the next week or two, then this is a weekly bear break with zero follow through. Now we just have a bounce where it's still in a daily downtrend, where this could still continue. We'll see if the bulls can actually give me that daily trend change back to their favor or not. You could argue this is a little pivot and we're in a neutral trend, but I just call it double top because it's like a couple pennies for a $360 stock. So yeah, so daily downtrend still intact, and we'll see if bulls can give us some daily trend changes back to their favor. They did their first step. They have the hourly trend change back to their favor, but I want to see the daily back to the bulls' favor for a more convincing bounce. All right, let's take a look at SPY. SPY relative weaker than QQQ. Makes sense. It's always a little bit weaker, usually. But hourly trend, let's see, did we break that? Okay, so we broke the hourly trend. You can see this right there, that pivot, same pivot as QQQ. We went below it. So it went from an hourly uptrend back to a hourly neutral trend now. Now, back to square one for SPY. SPY is now a small bounce, and we want to see more bounce, obviously, and then potentially confirm an hourly uptrend back to the favor. Or the bear is going to confirm an hourly downtrend if we break this today's low, whereas this double bottom area around 425.91. If we break that, that's an hourly downtrend confirmed, and that is not good because if SPY goes to hourly downtrend, it will likely drag QQQ down as well. But if QQQ doesn't come from the hourly downtrend and goes higher, it will likely drag SPY up. So we'll see. Usually QQQ is the one that leads, so we'll have to see. But of course, sentiment shifts overall if you have like SPY being weak. Who's going to be joining who on Monday? Tesla, let's take a look here. So Tesla's up 8.4% in the last 3 days, while QQ is up QQ is up 3.2%. So you can see every time Tesla has a relative weakness, relative strength, relative weakness, and relative strength, and it's just bouncing into this big picture, very clear, tightening range. Every move is within the next move. That's what an equilibrium tightening range looks like, and it's still in it. So not much fake outs here. As long as it's in this pattern, we know where it's going to be trading. And it was very clear support where we bounce off of this cluster of volumes here when we tested right there and then bounce above and close in it above it. Then that was a good sign where it was a bear exhaustion there and likely the bulls would take over, which it did the next day here. It's still up 1.5% today while QQQ closed flat. So it's decent. So I would say potentially if QQQ gets that bounce on Monday for QQQ, then Tesla would likely get some more follow through back up to this zone. Okay, so you have a couple of wicks here, volume trading in the zone. So we'll see if we can get over that 252 to come back into this zone. And let's take a look at Nvidia. So after its relative weakness from this drop after 500 rejection, it's been relative strength. And it's almost like a perfect grind. Every day it's making its higher low, meaning the low of the candle is always higher than the previous day. Every time, kind of, yeah, it's like a slow grind up. And it's like an hourly trend intact. Is hourly uptrend still intact? As long as hourly trend is intact, no signs of fake outs, but we are testing this 437, which is, you can see resistance, supports, resistance, resistance again. So 437 is pretty much the bottom of this structure right here. So we'll see if we can get over that or not. But hourly trend is going to be your guide. On the hourly uptrend is intact. Bulls are okay. But now I want to see a daily uptrend shape up, because this is just one straight move. Right now, there's a lot of room for bulls to shape up the daily trend change now. So we need a candle to close, not close. We need a candle to go below the prior candle for us to form that pivot to see where that pivot is going to be. If it's a shallow retracement, that's going to be a bull flag, and then bounce higher and confirm a daily uptrend. So we'll see if they can get that to happen. Maybe measure right now. Let's say we go from here to the top. As long as we stay above 430 at this zone right here, it's a bull flag. So let's see if we get that daily trend change going back to bull's favor or not. Apple's still very weak. Daily downtrend still intact. Let's see, there's just a mini bounce. So as long as daily downtrend is intact, bears are in control. But let's take a look at the hourly. So hourly finally changed back to trend of the bulls. And do we break that? Let's see here. The pivot was right here. So on that candle was low is at right here. This one is at 170.3. And this low is at 170.34. So we did not break by 4 pennies. We'll call it a hourly uptrend. You can technically, some of you guys would take this as a pivot as well during pre-market. I like to take it during market hours. So move, and we held that support right here. So as long as we break above today's high, the hourly uptrend will continue. But it's also giving us that little head and shoulders look. So we'll see. So bulls really need to break above today's high to negate it and continue its hourly uptrend. Amazon finally got its one candle above prior day candle, because this is one straight move. And we have one candle above the prior candle, and surprise how weak that bounces. Let's see. Yeah, 0.9%. That's not bad for QQ being flat. So it's relatively slightly outperforming today after a 15% drop, which is quite notable drop. So we're talking about this inverse head and shoulders for Amazon to confirm, and Amazon ended up being the last one to confirm. So we did confirm hourly uptrend finally. Pull back, retested the prior resistance. You see right there, similar low. Like that. So see that prior resistance exactly bounce off of that support. Not much bounce, but it's still a bounce. So we'll see if the bears are going to be serious about taking this, confirm this hourly downtrend on Monday, or we're going to break above today's high for a continuation of the hourly uptrend that's still intact at the moment. Yeah, and still a bear flag on the daily though. Nowhere even near the 382 yet. We need to come up to 131.86 for it to be a negate it. Gotta get above it to negate that daily bear flag. Google, let's see here. Google has been outperforming overall. You can see 3-day bounce here as well. And today's a little bit weaker. It makes sense. You can see every other chart, Apple, Amazon was dropping like a rock, while Google dropped close to 7% and pretty much bounced back half of it already. Yeah, over half, bounced 5%. So definitely barely dropped compared to every other mega cap tech. Even though we had a red day today, it's still quite a notable bounce for the last 4 days. And it's very clear, very, very clear resistance here. Because we have been looking at this 133. And this is the bottom of that zone, 127. So there's always zones for Google. Every time it goes up a level, it's a new zone. Every time it goes down a level, it's always a sideways zone. So finally, Google is turning into this zone. And it's super key, super clear resistance. It's rejection, rejection, rejection. When we're above it, you can see this acting as support. Below it came down to this zone, right? Which very clear test of down here again. Off of that zone on 127. So as long as Google is in 133 and 127, no fake outs here. We know where Google's going to be trading in this zone. What I want to see now is Google confirming a daily uptrend. Let's see if we get that pivot going next week. If we can get a daily uptrend going, that means we have to break above this high, above this zone. We top the zone and beat this zone. So we'll see if that confirms or not. And Microsoft, let's see here. So finally slightly bounced today after that triple bottom here. We're talking about this on the hourly. For bottom, bulls played defense here, while bears played defense here. But we got above it today. Bounce back, gapped up open, same as QQQ. Back tested that level, which is prior strong resistance, now acting as support. Bounce off of it, so it's a good sign. But I want to see bulls follow through. Otherwise, this bounce is just a weak bounce, and that can confirm back to the hourly downtrend. That will mean Microsoft is super weak because this was the first notable bounce out of this entire drop, right? If we get our first notable bounce and then just give it all back, then that just means a super weak bounce and no bulls are buying at the moment. But the back test is a good sign. But now I want to see us break above today's high for the hourly uptrend to continue. Give us a daily bounce to potentially shape up a daily trend change for that to happen. Otherwise, it's going to be another bear flag that could potentially break below. We need to get that bear flag as well. So a lot of daily bear flags at the moment. So we need the bulls to shape up hourly trend change to continue the hourly trend change for us to have a better confidence of negating those bear flags. So Meta yesterday, I talked about how we broke this downtrending resistance. We had 4 touches here, and we're likely going to test 310 if we do break this pivot at 307. So we gapped up there, broke above it, and came straight down. We touched it, and it went a straight waterfall because the only reason is because pretty much it hit key resistance. So when it hit key resistance, it can shift from relative strength to relative weakness, just when it hits key support. When it hits key support, it switches from relative weak to relative strength. But now it hits key resistance, so it shifts the other way. So what are you looking at now? This is just a big enough drop. Bear is forming an hourly bear flag, and we'll see if Meta bulls can defend 300. And this is 297. If they can, then they negate the bear flag. If they can't, then we're probably going to come back down to test 297 and potentially this downtrending resistance. You can see where it was acting as resistance should act as support now if we do come down to that, if that bear flag confirms. And I want to see a bounce from there because we already broke below this pivot, meaning the hourly uptrend has now become an hourly neutral trend. So yeah, we'll see if that bulls can negate this bear flag. If not, hourly may go lower down to here to 300 and 297 support zones. And on the daily, it just one straight move up. So we need some kind of trend changes as well. Form. Because this is just A to B move with one move. No pivot set yet. All right, let's log off for you guys. Have a great rest of you guys' weekend. And I'll be doing the natural gas video tomorrow and commodities for natural gas, oil, silver, gold, as well as the US dollar tomorrow. Make sure to check that out in the morning. And feel free to subscribe, like, and share if you guys made it this far or learn anything. And feel free to join the memberships. I do weekend videos on Sunday. And I will see you guys tomorrow.